12th October 2022, and today I want to quickly look at a case or a number of stories that I've carried over the past few months, and these are to do with cases of smuggling of guns. And so what we've done is, over a number of months, we've carried stories on the smuggling of guns, which we titled Chamisa Guns. And this follows revelations by the State Security Minister, Owen Mudangube, that there was an operation called Operation Lighthouse, under which Chamisa and his allies are busy smuggling guns. And this was something that we carried over a number of episodes. If you remember, there was a case that was in West Nicholson in July. There was the case of the search of Prophet Walter Magaya earlier than that. And then on 29 August, there was a case at Bedbridge, during which 65 AK-47s were seized. These guns were seized from a boat, put out a statement in July. I think that was around 12th July. And they said that there was no such thing. There was no such interception. And this is the update that I want to give you, that there has now been a court case. 2 army officials have been arrested. And these are very senior, high-ranking army officials who were arrested over the smuggling and cover-up of these guns. And these are, as reported in the media last month, Hope Goliath Mutize, I don't know his rank, and then Captain Leonard Matambo. So one of them is senior. So Mutize is senior to Matambo. He instructed him to cover up the import of the guns by their friend, who is called Guguletu Mabena. And Mabena is a gun runner who is based here in South Africa. So Mabena, when he got to Bedbridge with the guns, he managed to pass through the South African side. He managed to pass through the Zimbabwean side without documents. But then he was arrested and his car was detained when he went to take a bath, according to reports in the news hawks from a few weeks ago. So this case is very interesting because at first, we obviously thought that these guns were linked to people who were outside the system. But it turns out that these guns were actually meant for people within the system. But the left hand doesn't seem to know what the right hand is doing, which has resulted in these particular situations. So the question then comes up to say, who is importing these guns, for what purpose, and why is it that they are being imported or being smuggled into the country? It's very, very interesting. If you want to get weapons, you probably just go to China, you go to Turkey, you go to all these countries that haven't put sanctions on Zimbabwe, and you import guns. I'm going to show you all the countries that import guns, that export guns all over the world. There was a show here, a military show last week, and I managed to go through all these dens, talking to the guys who supply guns, and they're all over the place. So why use such guys who smuggle them through their cars? Also, the question that arises is, how many other guns are managing to get through in the system? So people just managing to drive through the border with hundreds or tens of guns, and what are the security implications of such a free importation or smuggling of guns? Why is this possible to do? What is the weakness that is causing this to happen? And is this not going to lead to a security incident within Zimbabwe? Because right now, as we speak, you can see that we have a serious gun crime problem in across the country. In fact, there is so many armed robberies taking place, and you don't know who is behind this. And as these guys get stronger and stronger, as they seize these large amounts of cash from private citizens, they'll eventually want to go for a bigger target. And this I've said in the past, that security is becoming weaker and weaker because the incentive for committing crime is very high, and it's almost like a low-hanging fruit. Committing an armed robbery in Zim is very, very easy, especially if you go after the unarmed citizen, the business people who are keeping money in their safes, in their houses, in their shops, in their envelopes. So this is a very, very serious problem. And obviously, from what is happening here, it's clear that these guns are not guns from Chamisa and his people. They are actually guns by people within the system. And the issue of the third force then arises. If third force characters manage to import many, many guns into the country, what are the possibilities leading up to the 2023 elections? So that is the update that I wanted to give today. As you can see, I'm in a different environment now. I'm not in my usual environment. So we'll be getting used to this kind of setup. And eventually, I'm going to come up with a much better setup, which will allow us to broadcast for longer. So I'm keeping this very, very short. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll be back again very, very soon. Tomorrow, I want us to look at other issues. Let me see if I manage to get time. We'll look at other issues. But if I don't, I'll be back over the weekend as I get more and more settled here in Kariba. Thank you very much and good night.
No, no. Mama wanna get it. Mama wanna get it nice. I know food I miss so. I know food I tebe. I know kaya marigi. Come back, don't you come? But don't you come? Come back, I know kaya marigi. Come back,